All right, today we are going to take our last bit of notes on Africa. These are new notes on page 55. It's titled Mansa Musa's Journey or El Viaje de Mansa Musa. Make sure you get your EQ, set up section 1. Make sure you get that first note right here at the top, Mansa Musa's Journey. When I reference this, you need to know what I'm talking about. And what I'm referencing is when Mansa Musa traveled across the Sahara Desert from Mali to Mecca. And we're going to talk more about that in just a minute. Remember, if you need to pause at any time throughout the presentation, go ahead and pause, go back, make sure you get all of your notes, skip lines, number them 1 through 10. All right, before we do get started though, I want us to look at this map of where Mansa Musa traveled. So Mali is right around here where you can see my cursor. Look at the arrow. And if you look down here at the key, you can see that this symbol, let me actually move, maybe that'll go away for me. No, it's not going to go away. So these right here, this symbol, these represent gold mines. So you can see all these mines right around here. Again, this is Timbuktu. That's a major trading center. Over here, again, this is the Empire of Mali. These are salt mines, right, that are all around. And then these are gold mines. So Mali is kind of right here in a good position where they have access to all of these things. And then Timbuktu is a city within the empire. That's a major trading center where they go to trade all of this gold and salt. So anyway, looking at Mansa Musa's route, this is his route. These are trade routes to different, these dots represent cities. So these are trade routes, these solid black lines that my cursor is going over. And then this dashed line right here, this is the Niger River. This dashed line right here is his travel route. So he starts here in Mali and he goes all the way across the Sahara Desert. This is all desert right here. And he goes all the way across through Egypt, over into Arabia, into Mecca. So this is quite a journey. And he does this for a number of reasons that we're going to talk about in a minute. Now you can see the entire map with the gold mines at the bottom and the salt mines and the trade route as well. You can look at the key. So again, just to get an idea of where he traveled, how far it is, and what he crossed the desert in order to get there. And we're going to talk more about that right now. So first and foremost, Mansa Musa made his pilgrimage, and a pilgrimage is a holy journey. That's a journey that you're taking for religious purposes. And he traveled across the Sahara Desert with a caravan of about 60,000 people. So you can see the image over to your right. That's obviously an artistic representation, but there's a lot of people, a lot of camels, a lot of servants, a lot of gold, a lot of other goods that he travels with. This is a long voyage. He makes this journey because he's a Muslim and all Muslims believe they must make this journey. So the city of Mecca in Arabia is where the Prophet Muhammad was born. So in Christianity, you have God and then you have God's son Jesus. Jesus is the prophet. Jesus was born in Jerusalem. In the religion of Islam, you have Allah, which is like God, and then you have the Prophet Muhammad. Muhammad was born in Mecca. So it would be like going to Jerusalem in order to visit the site of Jesus's birth. Muslims believe that throughout the course of their life, they need to, at one point in time, travel to Mecca in order to visit the site of Muhammad's birth. So that's why Mansa Musa makes this journey, and he also makes it for some other reasons that we'll talk about in a bit as well. Before his journey, though, we're going to back up a little bit. Mali and its wealth that they had gotten from trading all that gold and salt had been kept a secret. Nobody knew about it. All the people in Europe and other places of the world, they were unaware of all of those gold and salt mines because of the Sahara. And you can look down here and see all these sand dunes. It's a very difficult route. It's a very difficult journey. There's a lack of water, a lack of resources. There isn't anywhere to sleep. You have to have all of your own resources along your journey, which is why he brought such an extensive caravan. So people have not crossed this desert in to get to Mali, so nobody knows about this. So it was a secret because the rest of the world, no one from the rest of the world had ever crossed the desert to visit Mali. So he's sitting on all this gold. Nobody knows about it until he takes hundreds of soldiers, thousands of servants. They're all dressed in silk. Remember, silk's an expensive, fancy cloth. They have gotten this from China, but not because people have traveled all the way to Mali, but because they've stopped at other trading centers along the way, where then people from Mali have gone to exchange their goods for silk. So that's how they were connected with other places of the world, but those individuals had not necessarily been directly to Mali. He brought about 100 camels, all carrying saddlebags of gold. Remember, they're traveling in caravans, so camels are used for transportation, particularly the transportation of goods. And he brings all this gold because he's going to give it away eventually. Again, as much as it was a religious journey, as you learned in your brain pop, it was also a publicity tour. So along his journey, he stops in all of these major cities. You can see this image from your brain pop, a reenactment. And he's met by all of these kings and sultans, all these very powerful people. and he gives them a ton of gold. He just gives it away very willingly. And it's through this process that he not only becomes famous and very well known, but that people also learn about Mali's wealth. So again, because he gives away all of his gold, people start learning not only who he is, they're like, who is this Mansa Musa guy? But they're also like, where is he getting all of this gold as well as other resources? So Mali was not only rich from the gold trade, but also from salt and also from other resources like copper. So what happens is people start to write about Musa kind of the same way that when people become well known in our society, right? People start to talk about them, they start to tweet about them, putting them on Instagram, other social media, they become even more well known. So people start to write about Mansa Musa. They start to put Mali on maps, on European maps for the first time. And then Europe takes the gold that he gave away and they actually start to make their own coins using that money. So there's three really significant ways. This isn't in your notes, but you need to know this. There's three significant ways that Mali and Mansa Musa's journey impact the rest of the world, specifically Europe. And number one is because people start to write about Mansa Musa. Number two, Mali starts appearing on maps for the first time because you have to remember no one had ever traveled to this part of the world, so no one knew about Mali. They never had put it on a map. They're drawing maps of the world. Mali was non existent. Well, now they're aware of it, so they start to put it on maps and they take his gold and start to make their own coins. This also would possibly inspire travel to Mali now that people are aware of what is there. So those are the three big impacts that you need to make sure that you're aware of. It's all right here in note number 10. If you need to go back and get all of your notes, make sure you have all 10 of them. Make sure you highlight your hashtags and please give me a 4-sentence summary at the bottom of your notes summarizing what you learned.